What's up, Know Your Books family? This is the second episode of our off-topic series, and today we're going to be talking about how to make reading a habit. I'm going to take you step by step. I'm going to make sure that you can at least get one book finished this month, and I'm going to take you through a step-by-step program that worked for me, not only when it comes to reading, but also when it comes to fitness. That's actually based on that, and I'm just going to take you through it step by step. I'm going to show you how to make your structure. I'm going to show you how to keep track of your reading and how many pages you are reading, and then eventually step up your game to actually getting reading books faster. So step one is that we're going to make a commitment right now, and I want you to open up your notebook and grab a pen, and I want you to make this commitment. I am going to read at least one book this month by reading 15 to 20 pages each day. That's going to be our commitment. So the first thing that you have to do is write this down. This is going to be the goal for this month, for this section of your life, for reading. All right, and this is something that you can use to keep track or to keep your eye on the prize, on the goal. And the goal is to make sure that you can make reading a habit, but also to make sure that you are getting the information that you need from these books as well, so that you can start applying and implementing. All right, so step one is to make this commitment to the goal. I am going to read at least one book this month by reading 15 to 20 pages. So step two is to choose a book, choose a normal sized book. And I would recommend choosing a book that is max 200 pages. It can be a little bit over, but make sure that it isn't too long, all right? And don't overthink or ponder on which book you should read. I think the best thing which you can do is to read books most people agree on is a good book. So what I would recommend is the first reviews that we did. So Smarter, Faster, Better by Charles Duhigg, Crushing It by Gary Vee. And you can also look into Rise and Grind by Damon John. Those three, one of those three, I suggest just pick one of those and then go into it. I think that these books can definitely give you a good start into reading. And I think maybe the first book that you should read is Smarter, Faster, Better, or The Power of Habit, which basically also encompasses what we're doing right here. So don't overthink it, just choose and start doing. So step three is to choose a time that is best for you to read your book. All right, everybody has their own schedule and has their own way of organizing their life. But most people, they either do it right in the morning or they do it in the evening, the later evenings before they go to sleep, 1 or 2 hours before they go to sleep. What you can also do is that if you're commuting in your morning to work, you can actually use the time that you're commuting to get some of these pages in. You can actually divide these pages. If you want to read 20 pages a day, maybe do 10 pages in the morning and 10 pages in the evening. That is totally up to you. And I think that this is in your control, you know? So if you are planning on making reading a habit, for me, I think it's best to choose one specific time, one time block that you will always stick to. All right, and I think that for most people that is either in the morning or in the late evening, and that's basically what we're going to be using as our example in the next step that we're going to be talking about right now. Step four, we're going to create the program right now from scratch so you guys can keep track of your reading, and also make sure that you are, and also ensure that you are sticking to your reading every single day. All right, so I'm going to put in the top of this video right now, I'm going to put a little screen so you can see how I'm going to be writing down the structure and how I'm going to be basically writing it down for you. I want you to take your pen and your notebook or pen and paper so you can make notes and actually start making the structure for yourself while you're actually listening to this video. All right, so if you haven't grabbed your pen or paper yet, pause this video and get it. On the top of your page, what I want you to do is write down the title of the book that you've chosen. All right, that's the first step that you do, title of your book. All right, what I want you to do is put from top to bottom Monday till Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Each of these days you're going to be reading. All right? There are no exceptions to the rule. The only exception is when you have an emergency. All right? Then you can skip that day. That's fine, but only if it's an emergency, and those are in severe cases. All right? But you have to stick to this. Then what I want you to do is I want you to write down the time that you've chosen for yourself. And I believe that most people will probably read these pages in about 30 minutes. So if you have a time block of 30 minutes, what you can do is the time that you've chosen, I want you to put it next to each day. All right? So this is going to be basically your schedule, your reading schedule. All right? So you're going to be reading those times every single day. So, and every day that you've read, I want you to put the amount of pages that you've read in that amount of time. Yeah. So and I want you to make sure that you will be reading that 15 to 20 minutes or 15 to 20 pages each day. And you can choose in between whether or not you want to stop. If you want to read 15 pages, 20 pages, that depends all on you and your time limitations. That's why I made this little range, is to make sure that you can choose when you want to stop and when you want to continue. All right. So that is basically the structure that you're going to be using. Every time, every Sunday, I want you to repeat the structure. So on another page, I want you to repeat the same structure. All right. A nice addition to what you can do is each week write down how you've experienced trying to make or trying to read every single day. Was it easy? Was it hard? Maybe you should change the time that you're reading. That is maybe a little bit better for you in the evening, or maybe a little bit better in the morning, or when you're commuting. So these are extremely important things. All right, so make sure that that bonus, if you really want to, this is also going to be good for your mindset. And I want you to also make sure that you stick to that goal. All right, stick to that goal, at least one book this month. Go into the next step, which is step 5, and step 5 is to make notes. All right, and I think the best way what you can do is, if you have the structure on one page and you have a notebook, if you have the structure on one page, then you can use another page, yes, for the notes that you want to be putting in. All right, so you have the structure of the of tracking your reading, and then you have the notes that you're making, and you can make the notes until the next week, and then you can make the structure again, and then notes, and then structure again, notes. So I'm going to be making a video on how to make good notes and how to do and how to make notes that can apply to you, so you can retain more information and implement those key ideas better. All right, but for now, what I'm going to give you is that if you're going to make notes, don't just summarize the text. What you should do is make notes of key ideas, or ideas that resonate with you, or ideas that you want to apply. Those are the most important that you need to do. All right, so that is step 5. Make sure to make notes, because these type of things are going to help you continue on your process. Okay, you don't have to make entire pages of notes just to accommodate to your reading. Don't do that. I think actually that one page for the entire book is actually doable, just to have some of the key ideas in there so you can use and apply them. Okay, because it doesn't matter how many books you read, it doesn't matter how fast you read, but it's how much of that information can you apply in your daily life. Go into step 6, which is just do it. All right, in the beginning we had we had step 1, and step 1 was to make that commitment, and step 6 is to make that commitment again. All right, make that commitment again and just do it. All right, so the commitment was I'm going to be reading at least one book this month by reading 15 to 20 pages each day. That is your commitment, and I hope that you're going to be sticking to it. But I'm pretty sure you're gonna, because if you're going to keep track of your reading, what you're going to notice is also that your concentration levels are going to be a lot better, right? And your concentration is actually going to improve over time, and the information that you're going to retain over time is also going to improve. So these type of things are going to help you, and use these tools as effectively as possible. This structure, you can use it for the entirety of your reading life, but you can also probably get rid of it at some point. That a lot of people actually want to make sure that when they are reading that they're not losing concentration. I've noticed when I read daily that my concentration improves immensely, especially on concentrating on other tasks as well. So it basically also goes to other areas of your life. But this was the video on how to make reading a habit. What I want to tell you guys is that make sure to write down those structures, write down your program, and stick to it. And this is going to be the key to actually making it a habit. That's why we're committing this month to reading every single day. I just want to remind you guys that this is a video for people who haven't really made reading a habit or that read occasionally, and this is the way that you can do it. All right. And one of the most common mistakes that people make, because I want to go into the common mistakes, some of the most common mistakes that people make when they're trying to make reading a habit is this. All right. People are going to be overreading. Don't overread. I like to actually compare making reading a habit to making fitness a habit. When I go to the gym, I don't overtrain. I don't train too hard. I train just enough so I can make sure that I don't feel really bad the next morning or the next day, and then I can go again, right? And that's the same way I approach my reading. So whenever I feel like reading, I probably read more than 20 pages. But whenever I don't feel like reading, I'm gonna be sticking to that 20-page limit. I'm gonna read 20 pages, and maybe I'll read more, or maybe I'll read faster. I don't know how it's gonna happen or how I'm gonna feel that day, and that's the same with fitness. So on all days, you want to make sure that you don't overread. That when you read those 20 pages, that you don't say, okay, let me read 50 pages, because the next day you're gonna be like, man, I don't really feel like reading, right? So stick to that page limit for now, and put the effort into making a daily habit out of reading those 20 pages each day. So that's one of the common mistakes, is that people are over reading. Don't overread, because you're going to overextend yourself and you're going to sabotage yourself. Don't do that. Another common mistake that people make is that people choose books that are way too difficult for them. And it is not difficult as in you've not read enough, it's just difficult as in these books are actually targeted towards a different type of person and have a topic that is easily digestible for you. All right, don't go into books that have technical terms in them and are very difficult to read and to follow. Like, these are points that are going to be you're going to be self-sabotaging yourself. So one of the key tips that I can give you, even though I'm doing it myself, is to look at reviews, all right? And ask people, like, if it is too difficult to read. If you have any questions about any book that you saw on our page, then you can definitely reach out to me, and I can tell you if it is just easily digestible for the normal reader. So those are two of the most common mistakes I see when people try to make reading a habit. And I just want to tell you, thank you so much for watching Know Your Books family. If you have any questions, please make sure to contact us on YouTube in the comments, or on Instagram at Know Your Books. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're here, then you should probably know your books.